First things first, this is brought to you by DJEventPlanner.com and the sponsors in the upper left-hand corner that you see rolling. When it goes to YouTube, check out the other sponsors down below. They've been very good to us and help us stay on the air. So thank you so much for your patronage. We have with us a very, very experienced cast of characters. We have Buddy with us. Hello, Buddy.
Hello, Glenn.
John with us. Hello, John.
Hi there.
And Jay is with us. Looking very John Wick tonight.
Comes out next week.
It is. And as always, the one and only Brian Esred.
Hello.
So I'm going to have to put my glasses on to read this. I wrote it too small. Here's the topic for tonight. What are some of the most important things for your long-term success as a full-time DJ/entertainer, or just generally being in the entertainment business? Who would like to tackle that first? Would it be advertising? Whatever. Go ahead there, buddy.
I think it's understanding balance of income coming in and balancing your bills. So it's always your budgeting. I think that's like as any business owner, you have to distinguish how much money's coming in, how much revenue you have coming into the business, how much your bills are. Brian has done great videos on this about figuring out what your cost is per gig, and you have to equate that. And are you actually making money or not? And having a balanced budget that you're in the black and not in the red. And that's one of the things when I went 9 years ago working for corporations to working for myself, I was at that pivot point. Do I continue working for other people and have my business suffer, or do I take that leap and go to the business full time? And I did that, and I have not looked back since then, and I really do enjoy that. And one of the things was when we did that, my wife and I, because she also works with me in the business too, is we looked at budgeting things, making sure we were making enough money, not just to pay the business bills, but to make sure we had a buffer if we wanted to buy something for the business, if we wanted something came up, something happened, such as, 2020 with everything going on then, is making sure you always have that buffer there for your business and trying as much as possible to make sure you have a budget, that you live with your budget within your means.
So are you talking about, like a lot of us do, whether the percentages vary, like for myself, I pay myself and then I take 10% and put it away for the future. Is that what you're getting at?
That right there is a huge thing. And that's all boils down to what you can afford, what your business is. It was 2%, 5%, but you should have something there to put on the rainy day fund just in case something should happen. Be it you get sick, you get hurt, so, a major piece of equipment breaks, your controller breaks, or it gets stolen or whatever. You need to have enough money, enough funds to replace things. It's like any business, any major company. Big companies have, they can go and get credit all the time anytime they need to buy, big, huge expenditures. But the thing is that as a small business person, you may not be able to go get another credit card from a store or whatever, and you may have to pay for yourself. So you want to make sure you have that buffer and have some savings, but also you want to live within your budget too, and not overextend yourself and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go buy a Mercedes sports car and put it on the business, and your business is actually suffering and you're not making money to pay all your other bills. You don't rob Peter to pay Paul.
That's a very good point for the newcomers. That's excellent. So anybody else, what do you think is the most important things, that kept you as a long-term DJ, a full-time DJ?
I'll take the next pass then. I guess it's having something to offer that people want. You have to be in demand. And a lot of it, when we started off, it was just we DJ'd a party, and when the curtain closed, you went home, and then you waited until the next party, then you went and DJ'd a party. Now I think because of what 2020 taught us, it's more about diversification, that you're not just doing one thing. Because I've had residencies. I did 5.5, almost 6 years at one place, 5 nights a week, and you get bored with it. As great as it is, you always want to be, selling yourself and marketing for the next thing. When I was doing clubs and bars, I didn't think about weddings because I had a steady fit. And when you start getting involved with weddings, then you start getting involved with more audio and more media and with the whole AV side of it. And then, you make friendships and you try to maintain those networks. And I think that's what really keeps you afloat in the business. Because if you try to go it alone, it's a long, lonely road. And I don't think you're going to be as happy. It's the people you meet. It's you guys. It's the interaction, the camaraderie, meeting local DJs in your area and maintaining the relationships with the people that want to hire in different things. Having your name up present and don't fade like a flower. Keep on top of it and try to keep some brand awareness that yes, you can DJ, but you can probably do 10 other things to your field. And then the days just start flying by. I'm doing, corporate setups and PA for conferences and things and it's still busy, it's not a DJing job.
But you're still in the business.
Sure.
And that's important. Yeah.
It is. Rather than putting our eggs in one basket, you're doing a few different things and you stay relevant and you stay in demand. I think that's a big part for longevity if you want to hang in there.
Yeah. Well, I know our last two guys are very diversified. So which one do you want to go first?
Not even sure I understand the question.
What do you think is some of the most important things for your long-term success as a full-time DJ / entertainer or being in the business?
Well, I'll say this. I started off as a DJ, and then later on I went into doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I was strong-armed into doing other things by my ex-wife, who didn't like it that I was a full-time DJ. And it was harder to, do something 5 days a week and make less than you could as a DJ. So
You
really,
a car salesman?
well, no, I did a lot of things. What did I do? I was an AV tech. I was a property appraiser for a while. And yeah, I was actually assessing, houses for tax purposes. I did all kinds of weird things. I did cars too. I did cars after I left her. And the reason I left the car business was because it was getting in the way of my DJing. Because I was doing so well as a DJ, it was like, okay, well, if I stop doing the cars, then I can focus on this DJ thing, which is being better to me anyway. And it's, for me anyway, and I don't know how everybody else feels about what they do, but I feel like this is what I do best out of everything that I've done. I've done a lot of things, but I've never done anything like this well. No one ever thanked me for being a property appraiser or an AV tech or even a car salesperson, really. I got thanked for being a DJ. I get appreciated for being a DJ. So apparently it's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I don't know. That's how I decided it was time to do that. As far as any business advice, I'm the last person you want to ask business advice from. I'm not that guy. I'm an artist.
No, that's not even.
I make Buddy went all biz.
Yeah,
and,
he went all biz. But
he went all dollars and cents. I don't think about those things.
Yeah.
I let other people deal with that stuff because I'm an artist. It's really, my brain doesn't work that way. So,
well, you're also very creative. I mean, come on. That booth you built is awesome.
Well, I mean, it was just a matter of addressing needs and making it happen. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, to do this successfully for a long time, you've got to love it. And you've got to make sure this is what you want to be doing. If you're doing this, but you'd much rather be doing something else, go do that other thing. You got to be all in on this. You got to love this to do it full time.
I agree.
I don't know.
All right, Jay.
I think and I agree with Brian. I think you have to have a passion for this. But the thing that I tell people is you got to be understanding of the sacrifice. And, you can work for another company and do a gig a week and make
$800, $1,000. And at the end of the year, be like, wow, I picked up 50 grand. Let's go crazy on vacation. But if you're a full-time DJ and you own a company, there's sacrifices. I spent 6 years opening a Starbucks, 5 days in insurance, because the corporate insurance I had lapsed, and getting insurance as a single owner operator business was expensive. So I made the sacrifice. I've spent most every weekend of my kids' lives working. It's a sacrifice. I worked my past birthday last week. If you can't make sacrifices and you don't understand that that's for the betterment of the job, then don't be full-time alone. Don't be a single owner operator. Get other people that work with you and understand that at that point you become a businessman. I'm not a businessman either. I'm a DJ. I love what I do, and I do it on a lot of different levels, and I've had a lot of success. But I tell people all the time, there are going to be good times and there's going to be lean times. And you got to be prepared. When you're doing 2 and 3 and 4 gigs a week, month after month, don't buy a car. Don't get a condo. Don't buy a jet ski. Just keep putting it away and don't spend a dime, because 6 months later, you might find you're doing 1 gig a month. And it's terrifying when it goes south. So it can be a great thing, but I find it very difficult with a lot of companies to balance business and pleasure. The pleasure is the DJ aspect, but if you want to continue, you have to grow as a DJ. And I see a lot of guys grow as businessmen, but they're still DJing the same wedding today they did 20 years ago. So they're still in that rut. But, things are much different today. When I went full time, it was scary. There was, the internet was still new to what I was doing. YouTube was not even around when I started my career. So you didn't have the access to things like this. There was no DJNTV. We didn't have Facebook. I couldn't get online and go, hey man, I got a quinceanera. Can someone help me? So like John said, you got to get your community, make friends with your community, because you might need somebody in an emergency. But I think the biggest thing is be willing to sacrifice for your passion, because there are sacrifices and they're huge sometimes. They're huge. You can't tell a bride on a Friday, yeah, I broke up with my girlfriend. Can't make it. I'm really bummed out. I'm not there. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. See you guys do it, and they're not in business very long. So
no, not at all. Yeah,
that's my 2 cents worth.
Well, I've done about a third of my birthdays. It just so happens that my birthday falls on a weekend, every 3 years, and so I get it. There's sacrifices. And then there was sacrifices with my family, with my son, where I had to be away. Sometimes that's a regret, and other times not, because I got to spend time with him during the week. But I'm going to say that one of the most important things for my long-term success was networking. And the other biggest thing was not who you know, but who knows you. Because I started out, and now I've come full circle with production, with doing the things in New York that I did, and then having that multi-op rental of, sound and light equipment, in my early years. And I made a ton of money doing that. And then when the bottom fell out, when they raised the drinking age to 21, the days of bands, 6 days a week were gone. I worked at a place that had 3 bands a night on weekends, and they would, hey, the bottom fell out. Like, we're not having bands on Wednesday anymore. Howie, can you just come in? At first it was only 2 bands, and then it was like 1 band, and it was like, can you play music in between breaks? And I was like, okay. And he listened, oh, okay, he's got people dancing. And then they were like, yeah, we're not going to have a band anymore on Wednesdays. Can you just come in and play music? And that was my backdoor into DJ, at a really early age. And, I figured out I was using cassette tapes, a regular analog mixing board and just very crudely blending, but they seemed to like it. And I got to be known by so many people that were either bands or promoters or bar owners that it just came to me. I never, ever advertised. Has anybody ever advertised?
Yeah.
Well, social media now, but back in the day, we used to take ads in the newspaper. We'd take out the little 2-inch by 2-inch square, for the local paper, or I think it actually was the church missalette, I think is where it was paid however many weeks, $100 to get you in for, a month or something. And
yeah, you could do the church thing too on the back of the church, program.
that stuff used to be important. Those little menu placemats on the table with all the little ads around, right? Remember?
Yeah, penny pincher things that you used to get. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's if you make yourself valuable enough, it's the old line of you'll never see a Lamborghini commercial on TV because their clients aren't watching TV, but their clients are also going for that product. I think DJs are oftentimes like that too. If you do a good enough job, it'll get to people that you need to get to. Because advertising is like the biggest debate on social media today. Do I spend money on, the Knot and Wedding Wire or this one or that one? And, you're going to get one guy that says, I've done really well with it. And then 10 guys that say they haven't. So who do you listen to?
Yeah. Yeah. True. I think it all goes back to, certainly for this panel, your reputation. I mean, who doesn't know you guys? I mean, seriously.
A lot of people don't know me.
Enough people know you. You're even back in the clubs now because you know somebody.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't because the club knew who I was. That was because another DJ knew who I was and kicked it my way.
There you go.
And then that's how the connection was made. But yeah, it's networking and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I will say this. And this might sound really weird, but don't be a jerk. Be cool.
There you go.
There are a lot of DJs out there who are quite boisterous and they say things and do things that are kind of jerky. And people don't want to play with them. People don't want to play with those guys.
Right. They don't.
Be cool. Just be cool.
Play nice with others.
Just be cool.
Well, you got to be true to yourself. I mean, if you want to put on a costume, if you want to put on an attitude and a persona, that's fine. But understand that you pay for that price. Nothing comes free. You want to go out and be, and Drax comes to mind. I mean, Drax had a persona, a costume, a look.
Oh, he did.
He did very well back in the day with it. And we joke about it now. But that's what he wanted to do. He made no excuses for it. And I get nothing but respect for somebody that goes, hey, this is who I am. This is my costume. This is what I'm here to do. And, there's a customer for everybody, I suppose.
Yeah.
Don't, like Brian said, don't be a jerk to people. We go to shows. We're on social media. We go places. If somebody sees you in Jersey or Florida or California and they remember you and their friend's getting married in your neighborhood and suddenly, hey, are you available for a wedding? My buddy's getting married there and I know you live there. I mean, I'm sure that's happened to all of us at some point.
I was thinking about this
feeling.
This guy who kind of, he's in my state anyway. And he comments a lot on my Facebook stuff that I post. And I don't know if he does on my YouTube because I don't know what his YouTube username is, but he's on my Facebook a lot. And every time I post something, he's got all the answers. And he's a young guy and he knows everything. And those of you who have kids know this phenomena. There's a certain age of people who know everything. They're like buddy forever. Okay. They have all the answers to everything. And I told him, I don't know, I said something. Yeah, he actually, he didn't say these words. Like, yeah, I'm a jerk. Ask anybody. I'm like, no, you're not a jerk. You just know every damn thing. And, my kids were like that until I beat it out of them.
I want to welcome everyone to the Jerry Springer Show.
You didn't really beat anybody. Let's
And they'll bite my adult children. They will smack.
legal advice.
yeah.
Yeah. My adult children, I will smack around. No problem. But
John Young at.
no,
You guys make a very good point, though. I mean, if you're going to be a persona, you really have to have it down. I for myself, just being myself,
yeah.
easy. It's like tell and lie. My God, you
gotta remember your lie.
lying. You can't.
Yeah.
You got to get your story. You got to remember. It's like no, just don't lie. Be yourself, and you're going to be fine.
And just remember, every DJ that tells you how to do the job isn't paying your bills.
Ooh, that's true.
So don't ever fall into the rut of, man, I'm doing okay, but all these DJs say if I do this, you can try everything. And I suggest you do. Try different lighting. Check out Brian's videos on doing different lighting setups, different sound setups. Go check out a Scratch DJ's videos. Learn. But every year, be a better example of you, because the benefit of being a good DJ is you will get the brothers and sisters of past clients, and you really don't want them showing up a year or two later and you deliver the same exact product. Even though you might think, well, that's why they called me, because I did such a great job 2 years ago. You did, but music has changed. You can't just dial in that playlist and expect it to be, wow, it was perfect. You got to keep evolving and growing. If you don't want to grow, go part-time. That's cool. Get a top 200 playlist that never fails. Dial it in. Show up. Nail it. They'll never know what they could have had if you only give them an okay job. Remember that.
Some people never change. I've been doing this for long enough where I remember young kids, 13, 14 years old, wanting to get involved, and they were kind of little jerks, but you're thinking to yourself, they're
Don't
young.
say you beat it out of them.
They're gonna grow out of it. They're gonna grow out of this. They're gonna.
It will. Yeah.
And you know what? These same kids are 30 years old now, and they're still jerks. Some never grow out of it.
They never grew out.
Some do, but some people are just always jerks, and they never evolve away from that. And I think,
Welcome to the blooper reel for DJNTV.
It's true.
Show never aired.
Oh, it is.
it's the same thing that you said. You have to evolve.
Yeah, you do.
It's important to evolve. It's okay to make mistakes, but you need to learn from them and strive to be better. And
I think you, like John said,
that's important, but you still, I think, if you go into this with a strong moral compass and you keep that part, you'll do well as evolving and learning new music, new trends. I mean, Jay, I'm sure that wedding that you were referred to, you didn't go and do the same set.
no, but I was conscious of it because I wanted them to see that growth. I wanted them to see, and I say this all the time, I want this to be the best wedding I've ever done until next week. And as much as someone in the crowd may not like it, I'm a firm believer, and it's guided me since the 80s when I started playing guitar. AK Downing, thank you very much. You're only as good as your last gig. And if that's your attitude, you're always striving to be better, to do well, to get to that next step. And, we don't know it all. I'm not even close. I'm nervous at every wedding. And like most performers, if you're not, they all say the same thing. The day I'm not nervous or anxious to go out, I got to quit because it means my heart's not in it. I'm anxious at every event because I want it to be the best I can do because I'm only getting one chance. I can't come back the next week and go, hey, everybody, it's me again. Sorry I messed up your wedding last week.
I can.
Things that are
I can come back the next week and just be like, hey, we had a bad night last week, but we're just going to do better this time.
Well, I'm not.
Oh my God. Talk about the stressful going away.
Yeah, Jason is weighing those backing tapes. Just it's going to be the same show over and over, and he's going to sound the same forever.
When in doubt,
we get on those bands sometimes, you know.
I was thinking back, I'm like, geez, you know, why when I was 21 years old that I quit doing weddings and started doing clubs? That was a really weird thing for me to do. Now that I'm back at the club, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember why I did that. I totally remember why I did that. Because I was a lot happier. Yeah. And I wasn't dealing with you know, the stress of the wedding. Because that'll get you.
No, it will. But that's the other thing.
Bad.
Do what you do well. Like, there are gigs I turn down because I know it's not what I want to do. I'm not a huge high school dance guy. There are guys that love it, that are really on top of it, want to do it. And I do them once in a while. But the 2,000 kids with 12 subs and sparklers and fires and all that,
not that dude either.
That's not me right now. That's not what I'm willing to invest in to do it properly. So I tell them, hey, I'm glad you had fun at your cousin's wedding, and I'm glad you liked what I played, and I'm glad you think I could get your kids dancing, and I probably could, but what they want is this production. I'm not there.
Right.
So I can give you the name of somebody.
Well, you just don't want to have to be everything to everybody. I mean, that's...
I don't understand. But try things. I do quinceañeras. I'm the last guy you would think would, and I do very well at them. I've had a great time doing them.
Yeah.
I do bar mitzvahs. I've been hired back to the same family twice. Just do what you do well, and it'll come out in the wash. Learn. Ask questions. Call up a guy that does bar mitzvahs all the time and say, hey, can I shadow you? Do you mind answering some questions? People are going to help you out more than you think. They're not all about just, no, I'm not going to help you. You're taking work from me. It's not about that. It's about growing and learning and evolving.
Mm-hmm. But they will offer to sell you a DVD and a book.
So they teach you how to do it, then they call you for a booking. Like, hey, can you cover me now that I showed you how to do it right?
No, there's a lot of good people in the industry.
Yeah.
And
there are. There are more good people than
here.
Opportunities.
Brian schooled me 8-10 years ago. I said, I think most people are good. And he was like, not the DJs. It's their, you know, and I was like, oh, and then it happened to me. And I was like, oh God, Brian.
Well, you got to find them, Howie. I don't think you can paint with quite as wide a brush as we'd like to. I'd like to think they're all good, and I'd like to think they're all there to help. I think for the most part they are, but
it's like saying every really good-looking woman is wife material. No.
Right.
No. She might look really good, but you don't want to marry her. You don't want to live with her.
Right.
Oh, you might want to be her friend, but you don't want to live with her.
I still want to be
a special woman that you marry. It's kind of like DJs in relationships.
I just want to be at John Young's house when he goes through this show.
Oh, Lori's great. Yeah, he scored on that one.
Oh, yeah. She's amazing. I mean, I got to talk to her for an hour.
Yeah, I need to do right turn.
Lori's good people.
Let's get it back on track.
I love Lori. I've told John, you're a good guy, but you're not as impressive as your wife.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
She can talk about anything, and she's just so good at it. But,
she's amazing.
She's a school teacher. She's well-spoken. She does, a newspaper. I mean, oh, my God. I couldn't imagine running a newspaper.
So you got to find those people, the equivalent of those people as DJs.
That caliber.
Those are the people you want to hang around with.
Yeah.
So tonight's show is brought to you by Tinder, Bumble.
Tinder. Oh, my gosh. They're actually advertising now on TV. Can't believe it.
It's a different time. No, it's not Brian's day where you went out a blaze of glory at the bar.
Their catchphrase is swipe right, swipe right. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Because you're so perfect. Be the judge.
Reputation, but I think it's too late. It's kind of like bombing. For a DJ, like you said, oh, you're only as good as your last gig. But if you've got a lot of people there that that may be considering you and you call it in, it's going to be difficult to get that reputation back,
Oh, yeah. You can take 12 steps. Look at bad reviews. You get a 3, you've got 100 5-star, and you get a 3. It's going to take another 100 to get back to 5.
Right.
Just mathematics. That's just reality.
Yeah.
And it's the same with your rep because it's all you have at the end of the day. Your business license,
I don't know.
your insurance.
You say this a lot, and I understand where you're coming from, but I really think that there's something to failure that makes you do better the next time. I don't think failure.
But I think failure needs to come early. No. But I think
it doesn't. It happens.
Year what? I mean, too. I don't think it needs to come in year 23.
Well, think about
failure now means I wasn't prepared.
No, that's not what it means. If you do the same thing over and over and over again for 23 years, and it's perfect every time, fine. If you're AC/DC about it, okay. But let's say you're a different band and makes a different album, and when they did an album that didn't do too well. They tried something different. They were being artists. They were trying to do something fun. It wasn't as well received. Well, they can learn from that.
I don't think
that's not a fail. That's just, but I don't. Why it didn't work. It's okay.
But that's Metallica. You didn't get out of a 3-minute song. You can try a new song. Metallica did that with with the orchestra.
S&M.
Yeah, they did a
symphony of Metallica.
Yeah,
with the orchestra they had there.
I thought they did okay.
As well as their other music because they're a metal band, and they were doing other things, but it also didn't work as well. I think you can. I think where Brian's going and what I'm hearing is that try new things, but understand there's limitations to trying new things. If I decide that I've got it in my head, this song is going to work tonight, and it fails, I can get right out of that song. And I've learned the lesson. That song didn't work with this crowd.
Right.
I think the failures in your career need to come sooner than later, in my opinion. Because if you're making fails in year 7, 10, 15, 20, then you're not either planning correctly or you're not doing the basic thing of a DJ, which is to read the room. AC/DC does the same thing, and AC/DC is one of the only bands that can sell out a stadium. So they're doing something right for their audience. They're being consistent.
Yeah.
And they don't really take big chances, but they figure out this is really on what we do. You know what though? If I order a beer, I don't want it to taste like a martini. I don't
want a Coke that tastes like a banana.
Exactly. And I think with a DJ, your failure shouldn't be based on you going out of control or going way off the runway on things, as much as grow and try things. Say, hey, the lights always worked this way. But and I've had this talk with you, Brian, about I wanted to put my sound in a different place. And when I do, it sounds better. I learned a lesson, and it took 23 years to do it because I've always been they have to do it like this. This is how I do things.
Yeah.
Because the artistry is in the mixing. It's in the programming. It's in the approach to the room. It's in the what you say on the microphone. That's the artistry. The speakers and the hardware and the gear. That's not artistry.
It kind of is. I mean, art.
Yeah, it is. And
sound lighting is an art form in itself.
No, it is. But I'm not saying how it.
I understand what you're saying.
Hardware is the hardware. If I showed up at a gig and they said, "Hey, we don't have your gear. We have this gear. Give me a minute." Okay, I can still do my job. I can still, and I'll do it to the best of my ability, and I won't blame the gear on how the gig went. I've heard guys go, "Well, I wasn't using my normal mixer." Dude, I don't care if they gave you 2 spoons and a piece of string. You're a DJ. Man up and show up and do what you're supposed to.
You'd think.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we're all different. All good stuff.
It's been a good trial run tonight.
Thank you.
You're never going to see the light again.
No. Next week, Jay is going to do a demonstration with string and 2 spoons on how to mix. So make sure you tune in next week.
I can play Lola's theme on it.
Yeah.
We will see you all